Welcome to The Localist, a conversation with local makers and independent entrepreneurs. I'm your host, author of the Localist book and former small business owner, Carrie Rollwagen. So our guest today is a little different because I know him very well. Today we're talking with my husband, Russell Marbut. So Russell is one of the owners of the Alabama Twisters. They are a state-based professional Jiu Jitsu team, and they're part of the PGF, which is the Professional Grappling Federation. So the team is a little bit different because it isn't owned by just one corporation or one individual. It's actually a collaboration between 9 different gym owners and athletes from across Alabama who wanted to form a team that's really unique and connected to the state. So Russell actually opened Jiu Jitsu a couple of years ago with his business partner, DJ Wright. And Russell and DJ were on the podcast talking about that business. But the Twisters is a different business. But also, of course, Russell and all the other owners are bringing the lessons that they've learned at their own gyms and applying them to this venture as well. Now, obviously, Russell and I are married, so I know parts of this story already. But this is just a really unique business. You have the needs that other businesses have, like the team needs to make money, just like any other business. But you also have the element of competition and entertainment and just different needs that not every business owner has. And then we also talk about the collaboration between all the business owners and the community that they're forming as well. So I have found this really fascinating as it's developed, and I've been watching it in our personal life. And I wanted to share it with you too, because I think there are lessons here that all of us can take for our businesses, and then there are some just like fun, different, unique parts as well. So I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. So welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, you were difficult to book, but we made it happen.
Busy man.
Yeah. So kind of to start out with, how would you explain the Alabama Twisters to somebody who didn't know about professional grappling like at all?
So usually jiu-jitsu competitions are individual sports. The Alabama Twisters is the first state-represented team for the Professional Grappling Federation, and they're doing things a little different. So this is more of a team sport.
Okay, so maybe tell us like about the PGF.
Yeah. So
like what is that? What's like a correlation to kind of a sport some of us may be more familiar with, maybe, and kind of how did PGF start?
Yeah, so it's in Vegas now, but funny enough, it started in Alabama. Brandon McCaffrey started it up in Decatur. He does a lot of commentary for large events and stuff like that, and this is kind of his organization, his dream. And it's pretty unique, honestly. It's very different than normal jiu-jitsu, competition organizations. It's very kind of based around like your typical sport, like your major sports. So there's a draft with real money. There's teams that compete. There's a fantasy league around it. So it's really modeled after like our professional sports.
So like the NFL or
yeah, absolutely,
Major League Baseball or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So how long has it been in Vegas? Like, do you know, like a couple of years or?
It's been a couple of years. I think
Okay.
don't quote me on this, but I think the first couple seasons were in Alabama, and then they moved to Vegas. That kind of happened when Zoltan Bathory and Heather Grace Gracie bought into the organization. Zoltan's actually the guitarist for Five Finger Death Punch, and Heather Grace Gracie is a Gracie. That's, if you know anything about jiu-jitsu, that's like the biggest name possible in jiu-jitsu.
It's like a family that's very big in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, they kind of popularized it in overall. Yeah.
So they bought in, and it kind of became like a bigger thing, I guess, then.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it got moved to Vegas.
So now the competition's in Vegas also. So the organization is there and the competition is there. Kind of tell us how that works. Is it like a long season? Is it a shorter season? Like, are there playoffs? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so Originally, it started as a long season, just like, football, game day every once a week. And then I'm assuming for logistical purposes, they squashed it down into like 1 week, like a real, boom, boom, boom. But this season, they've returned to that original idea where it's over the span of several weeks. Every Wednesday, the matches happen. And so it's a 5-week season. The teams compete against each other. And then whatever team scores the most points wins a cash prize at the end. And then the top individual point scores go into a playoff that will start like a couple weeks after the season ends for even another cash prize, basically.
Okay. So do the athletes and does everybody like stay in Vegas? Are they flying in and out of Vegas? Like, how does that work?
Most of them are. Yeah. Like, most of them are staying in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the Olympics where the athletes live there for a while?
Yeah.
Do you have like a Olympics camp that's actually kind of shady or whatever?
I don't know. I do think there's been there's a couple houses that some of them are staying in and people are pitching in to help people stay different places. Yeah.
So the Twisters is kind of is it a new team or is it kind of like an existing team under new ownership, or like how does that work?
Yeah, existing team under new ownership. So there's kind of two ways. There's either a sponsor for a team or there's an actual owner of a team. So there's
like a corporate sponsor or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Or just like a wealthy owner or whatever. Is that right?
Yeah. So right now there's 4 teams. I think the plan is to expand that.
Mm-hmm.
But right now there's 4 teams. New Hope Regeneration, which is a stem cell company. I think they're based in Pensacola. Don't quote me on that. But
we're quoting on everything.
Yeah, this is very quoted. They bought the first team. Mm-hmm. So they owned a team. Okay. And then the opportunity for us to buy the team came along. So we're actually the owners of the second team. Mm-hmm. And we're a little bit different than New Hope. We're not a corporate, entity buying. We're a conglomerate of about 9 that have bought in. So, and the other 2 teams are sponsored. But we came in after the draft. So the team we took had already been formed. We were just given the opportunity to choose one of the 3 teams that wasn't the New Hope Regeneration, the New Hope Kings. Yeah. And so we chose our team, and that's our team.
All right. Well, what was the process of that? Was it a vote? Like, we want this team or we want this team? Or was it just natural and we already know?
It was a vote, but everybody was pretty unanimous. We looked over the teams, and we really favored one. And we said, give us that one.
When you did that, did you look primarily at stats, or did you know, are these guys fighting, are they people that you'd already seen fighting in other, tournaments or matches or anything like that?
Yeah.
Did you review tapes?
No, most of them are already familiar with.
Making up sports language.
Yeah. Moneyball.
Yeah.
No, most of them I was already familiar with. Mm-hmm. And then, there's 9 of us, so some of us knew more about one or the other, and it just seemed like the right call, and I think it was the right call.
Well, how did the name, the Alabama Twisters, do you know who came up with that, or was it just by the time you were involved, was that already settled, or?
No, I think we discussed a lot of names. The Bama Slammas, I think the Southern Strangle Union or something like that. There were
interesting. Is it a true crime podcast, or is it a jiu-jitsu team?
I mean, but I actually think Zoltan maybe came up with the Alabama. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it may have been him or Brandon. And we were like, yeah, that works.
Okay. So how did we talked about the owners and how it's not a corporate team and it's not like a one owner. I think what you guys have done is fairly unique, correct me if I'm wrong, at least in maybe jiu-jitsu for this league. But you have, is it 9 different owners that are mostly from different gym owners, and then maybe some athletes from around the state? Yeah, exactly.
So 9 of us are from Alabama. 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 9 of us are from it's about 6 of the 9 are actual gym owners. Myself, Matt Elkins is 10th Planet Birmingham. I'm Om Jiu Jitsu, also in Birmingham. We have Cole Dobbins, who's in Chelsea. Shane is down
Cobra.
in Cobra. We have Shane down in Opelika, Cage Fit. We have one Mississippian.
Okay. Is that messes up your, I mean,
we
Alabama
try to ignore
and
the fact.
Mississippi, we're very close.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's
JC's our one Mississippian, but he brings so much to the table.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't get rid of him. So, Floyd Brown, he's a wrestling coach for Cobra. Jacob Lamar, he's an athlete. Josh Yelverton, he runs a 10th Planet down in Gulf Shores, I believe.
And 10th Planet is a jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, these
group.
are all gyms.
Yeah.
These are all gyms. So we just all kind of came together. Oh, and Curtis Taylor, Cobra, Tuscaloosa. I believe that's everybody. There's a lot of us. We've been called the Nasty Nine. That's what people are referring to us as.
Where did this name originate with you guys, and you just spread it around, or it's just
No.
like
We give ourselves a lot of names, but I don't think that was us.
the Southern Stranglers?
I think BMAC, the commissioner,
Okay.
came up with that.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I thought probably you
Yeah,
were.
it's fine. I think it's fun for us. Again, we're not the corporate sponsorship. We're kind of the grassroots guys. And, we're gym owners and athletes. Like, we really do this. Like, this is our life. So, hopefully that helps people get behind us and want to cheer for our team. Because our team won't be the same every year. The weight classes shift, a new draft happens. So we want to also have people invested in us. So
I think that is something that's kind of been interesting to me watching this from like the proverbial sidelines. That it is kind of like part of the point is like you follow the twisters. I think to some extent that's one good thing about the name. It's kind of like one of those, like you have minor league baseball teams that are always like funny names, like the Trash Pandas or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of like connected to Alabama anyway. The logo is kind of like you would see on like minor league type of teams, that's part of the connection to people. So if you're connected to Alabama or you like that iconography or anything like that, you can say like, okay, well, I'm not deep into this team yet, but I still might buy a t-shirt or something. And it seems like the same thing as far as the Nasty Nine. I don't know. I don't know if I can pull that off. But it's interesting like that. I think you guys are kind of building that also, that you can people can connect to you as owners. And I think like if you were just like 9 bankers or something who owned a jiu-jitsu team, that would maybe not make sense. But because like you said, you all own gyms and you all are athletes, or a mix of that. There is something else to connect to,
Yeah, 100%. And, trying to make it more community-based is intentional. I think it's natural, but it's also intentional. So, yeah, we want people to want to root for us because of who we are, what we represent, and we have a lot of different characters, so... Fleroy. He's kind of our...
main character.
Yeah, our main character. And we all kind of bring different things to the table, so that's been fun to watch.
There's one, for people listening, there's one guy that's very, he's just a character. I think, is that fair? I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, I think, enjoys being interviewed, and I'm sad. Actually, everybody at Infomedia is sad that Fleroy isn't here today. Nothing against you, Russell.
He's a hard get.
Yeah.
You guys gotta roll out the bank money.
Well, that's something that you guys have kind of also played up, like your like the way you dress and act a little bit, even in Vegas. Can you like speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, and it is Vegas.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But the environment is a little different there. there's couches, there's lamps, there's chandeliers.
That's PGF, not just Vegas.
Yeah, at the PGF, at the actual event.
Vegas has a lot of couches.
There's a lot of that going on too. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe at the event. So we're playing our part,
Yeah. So like maybe what is your wardrobe like when you go to Vegas?
I just try to be as fly as I can.
Yeah. So that's like a suit.
Yeah.
A similar shirt, though, to what you're wearing today, probably.
Somewhat, yeah.
Sunglasses.
I had to tone it down for y'all in here.
Yeah. I was wondering. I was like, are we going to get Infomedia Russell or Jiu Jitsu Russell or Vegas Russell?
You never know.
I thought you'd wear... was telling Paul before, I was like, I didn't want to ask Russell if he was going to come as his Vegas persona because I figured he would if I brought it up.
Could have made it happen.
Yeah. Could have been wearing sunglasses inside right now.
I would be lying if I said the thought didn't cross my mind.
But I've thought that was really fun to watch because it is intentional. It's kind of like you're not like dressing up to go to Vegas. It's not like anything you wouldn't wear. It's not like you're being like I'm being a little silly saying it's like a character, but
it's not really a character.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just dialed up a little bit.
And at first I just thought that was fun, and it is fun because it's like going to Vegas, whatever.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was interesting when you were kind of talking about, well, the team changes and the owners don't. So it helps people to be able to connect to the owners. And I thought that was like an interesting strategic move.
Yeah. And it's a balance too, because we don't want to, the intention isn't to outshine the team. Like I'm trying to promote the guys on our team. They're the ones going out there, putting their bodies on the line. There's already been multiple injuries so far, making the sacrifices of, a lot of these guys aren't making a ton of money. Like this is their intro into it, and they're getting paid for this, and they're getting paid for this a lot better than they normally do. But they're still having to make sacrifices to be a part of this thing, whether it's leaving their job, leaving their family, risking the injuries that are involved with a high-paced, intense match, and you have 3 matches a night for 5 weeks in a row against very good guys. So we don't want to, we're not trying to outshine them. We're trying to uplift them as much as we can and boost them the best we can. But at the same time, we do want people to have a connection with us too. Yeah.
Well, it does help because then they connect with us, and you shine light, like you said, on the athletes, because you all are doing that with your personal accounts and stuff too.
Yeah, and something I said to some people here is when you go and you meet these guys and you see the passion they have, you see them after maybe they didn't perform as well as they wanted to, or they took a loss, and they're just like determined to do better the next time, or hear about like whatever sacrifices they made. It makes you invested and want to support them the best you can.
Yeah. So the 9 of you getting together, like how do you balance the fact that you all have gyms that you're all running small business. Most of you are running small businesses already, which are not that easy to run. How do you balance?
Fair assessment.
Yeah. Any small business. So how do you balance? And then a lot of you also are coaches, like you're your main coaches at your gyms.
Yeah.
So how are you all balancing? I know it's a little bit different for everybody, but kind of that, where do I put my time? Do I put it with, in your case, like, do I put it with Jiu Jitsu, or do I put it with the Twisters? Where do I put my social media? Like, am I shouting out somebody in my gym? Or am I shouting out one of the Twisters? How is that kind of shaking out? And how are people in the gym, like, what's the responses in your individual gyms?
I think the responses are overall positive, but it was a bit sudden. It was sudden for us, so it was sudden for everybody. All of a sudden, it's just like I'm starting to promote this thing that nobody knew existed because it didn't exist. Yeah. The PGF existed, but the Alabama Twisters didn't exist as of like 3 weeks ago.
You're just like, this is my favorite team.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Some of it is just like, what is this? But there has been a lot of support as well. As far as balancing my time, I'm just present with whatever I'm having to do at the time. When I'm at home and I'm coaching and doing whatever, I'm just trying to be as present as I can there. When I'm in meetings with the Nasty Nine, I'm in Vegas, I'm trying to put all my energy into that. So just trying to give, my attention to what's present and doing the best I can there. All of us are running gyms or training in the evening, so most of our meetings are happening like 9:30 p.m., because we get out, we got to get showers, eat, and then chat it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that has been interesting. Like, I'll mention to people, like, Russell was on a Zoom call at 9:30 last night.
Yeah. That's when it starts.
Yeah. Well, also, maybe speak, because if people aren't familiar with jiu-jitsu, talk about how, like, seeing competition kind of pushes the sport forward, and also how, like, I've kind of seen most of your jiu-jitsu journey. Like, we started dating around the time you kind of really started jiu-jitsu, done a little bit before. But I remember watching you, like, you were in the gym, but you were also watching competition, learning things from that. And even last night we were watching a match where the person who won was talking about, like, part of the point of this is that these matches push the sport forward. So maybe speak to that, because I think that's a little bit maybe why it's important for you guys as gym owners to be involved in something like this. It's not just like, it is fun to go to Vegas, but also I think, especially watching your personal journey, I think competition and watching tape has been pretty important to you, both as an athlete, as a competitor, and as a coach. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, mostly competition, aside from entertainment purposes, it just gives people something to aspire to, watching the best people. The PGF is also unique. So jiu-jitsu can be very exciting. It can be very boring.
Correct.
Yeah. And even diehard jiu-jitsu people are lying if they don't admit that. And generally they do admit that, because the whole sport is to take someone down, keep them from being able to move. So pin them to the ground as effectively as you can, and then slowly work into a strangle or, some kind of joint lock. The PGF is doing its best to make it as exciting as it can be. So their rules are weighted heavily towards offense. So in a normal match, you may get put in a pin, you're in a bad position. You can play safe. Mm-hmm. No one's gonna, get down there and be like, you can't do this. Yeah. You can just be real safe. The PGF's not allowing people to do that. You get put on a shot clock. If you're not going for it, they're going to put you in a very bad position.
It's like speed chess.
They're going to put you, they're going to say shot. Yeah. It's like speed chess.
If jiu-jitsu is human chess, but some people think it is. PGF is human speed chess.
Well,
I can tell you're like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Well, jiu-jitsu, people say jiu-jitsu is like human chess, but the truth is it is somewhat like chess, but also like,
because of the strategy.
Yeah, but one person can make 5 moves in a row before you.
Oh, yeah,
so it's not like I take a move, you take a move. It's like, no, I'm going to get right to checkmate.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point is if you're not actively going for it, if you're not being offensive, they're going to put you on a shot clock. They're going to give you about 20 seconds to make a real movement towards offense. If you don't do that, they're going to put you in a very bad position, which may lead you to a loss. So they're trying to make it exciting.
Yeah.
And it is. Like, these guys are really going for it.
Yeah, there's like all these rules about, I don't remember if it was called stalling or something, but I was looking at the rules and almost all of them were basically like be active.
Yeah, they want action.
Yeah.
And that's a struggle with a lot of jiu-jitsu events, is the stalling, because someone can stall if they want to. It is a situation like it would be like if basketball didn't have a shot clock and you could just dribble the ball way over here and not shoot and waste 30 minutes of everybody's time. You know, that's possible in some rule sets in jiu-jitsu, but they're not going to allow you to do that.
Not 30 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
because the matches don't last that long.
I'm talking about basketball.
I know.
But anyways,
I'm saying for people listening, typically.
Let's argue about basketball. I agree.
I understand about basketball.
Okay.
I'm saying a typical jiu-jitsu match. Hello, basketball. A jiu-jitsu match is not typically 30 minutes. Is what I'm
Some of them are.
It can feel.
There's. So that's kind of the argument. Like, if you want to find out who the best person in the world is, you say no time limit, no referee intervention. We're going to put them out there on a big mat, and until someone subs somebody, they're going to go. And that's happened multiple times. That's not realistic for viewers or an event.
Yeah.
Promoters. So we have to, find those rule sets that are going to make sure people can watch and be entertained.
And there's room for both kinds, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want more people watching, you want to work in that rule set, which is going to be have people, going for it, because that's when jiu-jitsu is exciting. The scrambles, the flying attacks, not the slow grind,
right?
Which is good jiu-jitsu. It's just not good
viewing.
TV.
Yeah. So speak a little bit while we're still talking about the competition and the athletes. You guys are all coaches, but you're not the coach of this team. None of you are the coach of this team, right? Right.
We're in the owner role. One of the reasons we chose the team we did was because the coach. The coach is Janato Canuto. He actually competed for the UFC BJJ title last night, which was awesome to watch. He didn't come away with the win.
When you're listening, but
when you're listening, it was last week. But he didn't come away with the win, but it was very exciting. He's a very exciting guy. He's competed a lot. He's, I would say, a jiu-jitsu celebrity. So he's been really cool to be around. You never know when you meet someone like that. How are they going to be, Yeah. And he was very cool, very cool. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how does his interaction work with the athletes? Is it mostly like the big tournaments? And that's not always the case too, because like last night he had a match, but they've been competing this week too, right? So
yeah.
How does that work with him coaching?
So most of them are attending his gym he's in Vegas, which is great. That's where he's based out of. So most of the athletes are training at his gym. And he's there on the day of coaching, but he's coaching them throughout the week. So yeah, during the season, he's their coach. He's invested in getting them the win.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the business side of it. So you have 9 people, and you all chose to be not just involved in a combat sport, but to open a business based around a combat sport.
Yeah.
So that can be a pretty chill person, and it also is not necessarily. But you'd have 9 personalities anyway, trying to move forward in one direction. And this has been, like you mentioned, like a quick, it's not like you've been planning this for years,
Right.
So you talked about the Zoom calls. Maybe talk a little bit about what happens on them, or what else you do to make sure you guys are touching base with each other, that you're making decisions together, and not just kind of, well, this person wants this to happen and this other person wants something else, and so we're going in multiple directions.
Yeah. So we're in a WhatsApp group. We're constantly talking. What you said about combat sports athletes, most of us are pretty chill, actually. So we get to work all that out over time.
I did say that, but I know that's not the case.
Yeah. And most of us already have pretty good relationships, so it's not like meeting. Some of us didn't know each other, but a lot of us do. And so far, like, people have kind of naturally fell into some roles, which is nice. But if we're trying to figure something out, we talk about it, and generally we can come to some sort of consensus about things.
Yeah. This is a weird thing, but logistically it's nice to have an uneven number of votes sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you hold actual votes, or is it mostly just like, no, like we talk through it?
For some things we do.
Yeah.
Some things we do. Other things, someone may just have a good idea and we talk it out, and then we land on what we think is the best idea. So we will continue to work to probably solidify, this is 3 or 4 weeks old. We will work into solidifying like actual roles and all that, especially in preparation for next season. Mm-hmm. Right now it's kind of putting the tracks down in front of the railroad, or in front of the train rather. So we're just kind of working the best we can, trying to give each other as much grace as we can, as far as like everybody just wants the best thing. And I think that's the kind of glue that's holding it all together and keeping it nice, is everybody is on board with the idea, and everybody wants it to be a boost to the community. So we're invested in Jiu Jitsu in Alabama, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously. So we're just trying to do what's best for everybody. So we're not trying to get a lot of egos involved and things of that sort. So it's worked out nice so far, but we will, really nail that stuff down in the not so distant future.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting even throughout the years watching you all work together. Like, I know one thing that was important to you starting your gym in the first place, was your Friday night open mats. Kind of tell people what that is, what the point of that is.
Yeah. So Fridays I do a all city open mat. Anybody from the other gyms can come train. It's not a time for you to come and try to beat up your brother. If you don't train, don't come. But
bring somebody from work.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. It's for people that actually train. Mm-hmm. But so
there are plenty of beginner classes you can take.
Yeah, for sure.
The Friday night's not beginner. It's for different people. Because normally, I think before, you'd only like train with your gym. And so you kind of get to know those people. You get to know their quirks and how to beat them. Mm-hmm. And it's not always the best for continuing to sharpen your skills, right?
Yeah, it's always the cross-training aspect of it is always good. But that's kind of where some of this relationship was fostered. So Friday nights, a lot of Matt's guys from 10th Planet come over. A lot of guys from Cobra Chelsea, Cole's guys, or Cobra Tuscaloosa come to my gym. Saturday morning, Cole has one. Mm-hmm. Sunday afternoon, Matt at 10th Planet has one. So we were already kind of started to build this relationship where we're cross-training with each other, just trying to lift up the community, the best we can, and the skill. Because like you said, cross-training's super important for skill development, so you can see different looks and be tested in different ways.
Well, and that's something I don't think necessarily people who aren't familiar with the sport would understand, that it's really good for all of your individual gyms that you have these good relationships with the other gyms. Because that wouldn't necessarily be true if you're going to like an Orange Theory or something. It doesn't really matter if another one you're friends with, your ally gyms or whatever. Yeah. I don't think that's what you call it. But for you guys, it does matter. Like the fact that, for example, in Birmingham, you could go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and have open mats that you're training with people not just at your gym is, I think, pretty unique.
It is. It's unique for martial arts as well. That isn't how it was for a really long time, and there's other places that are very against cross training. To me, that's a red flag, but that's a discussion for another day. Yeah, you just don't want to be too closed off. You need to get other looks, especially if you're trying to get to the next level. So I think it's a real boon for each of our gym's members and just the community at large to be able to get those looks from other people.
So I think that's true about the open mat, but I see it almost like on a broader scale of like partly why you guys are getting together. Yes, you're getting together to buy the twisters. Yes, it's about the team, but it seems like it's also about just the collaboration and community between gyms in Alabama. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%.
And Mississippi.
Yeah, and a teeny bit of Mississippi. No, that's the heart of what we're trying to do here. We want to get the community more involved. We have ways that we're planning on doing that. We have some pretty concrete ways we plan on doing that. Again, it's been 3 or 4 weeks since this thing started, so we don't have everything worked out, but we've made a lot of good headway, and we want to try to get the community involved as much as possible. So yeah, be on the lookout for that.
And when you say community, do you just mean the jiu-jitsu community or the martial arts community? Or are you hoping that this is like kind of like a minor league sports thing where other people will support also?
Yeah, both. So, or all the above. We obviously want the jiu-jitsu community invested, but we want, people that are just sports fans to be able to participate and want to support, just like if you don't play soccer but you may enjoy the Legion or the Birmingham Bulls or the Barons, or that's kind of what we're shooting for. So as far as getting the community involved, we've discussed a lot at like, okay, how can we get people that actually train jiu-jitsu involved? Like what kind of perks could they be receiving for, maybe being part of a fan club or whatever. But also, like, what about just somebody that thinks this is cool and is like, oh, there's a fantasy league. I like to play fantasy. Those people to feel a part of it as well. So we're trying to hammer all that out.
Yeah. And then there's like merch and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So some of it's just fun to
exactly.
be like, I want a tornado.
Yeah. AlabamaTwisters.org. You can pre-order your shirt right now. And we have more to come. Like I said, we're working on fan club stuff. So all that's getting hammered out.
Awesome.
Yep.
So what is from the broader community, is the major, like, the reason to follow kind of just, this is fun to watch, I like the merch, and I want to invest in something that's kind of unique to Alabama? Because the league was born in Alabama, and then the Twisters they're the only state-based team, right? That's
correct.
Like that's.
Yep. I think the first state represented team in jiu-jitsu ever. Okay. Not only for the PGF, but ever. I'm not 100% sure about that, but as far as my knowledge goes, yeah.
So like, which that's what we're used to. Like a baseball team, for example, is usually associated with like a city or I guess not a state, but
yeah.
But this is kind of unusual for that. So
yeah, and I think that's where the PGF's trying to head.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all turns out, but I think that's the model that may continue to grow in, where there's conferences and more states, but that's all future stuff, but yeah. We'll see.
Well, how have you personally been balancing, you have a full-time job at our sponsor, Infomedia, and then you have a full-time job running OHM, and now this is kind of another job. And also OHM's going through a build out, so you have that. How like logistically have you kind of made this help, and how important has been the support of your wife in this endeavor? Extremely important.
There's yeah.
I'm joking about that part, but what just logistically, like what does that look like? Logistically,
it looks like 9 to 5 Infomedia, 5 to 9 Jiu Jitsu, 9 Teal, Alabama Twisters.
So a lot of free time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's particular. I mean, right now it's go time for the Alabama Twisters, so we're spending a lot of time on that, and we will continue to for sure. But right now, particularly, is a sprint for the Twisters. So,
and I think sometimes I don't think about your business being jiu-jitsu is. This is like a pro and not a con, but like a difficult thing. In that pro, you don't have to also fit in a workout because you can roll at like after you train or you coach, right? Like you coach, usually you have like a beginner class at 5:30 most weeknights, and then a regular class at 6, and then you guys roll and hang out. And during that part, you still train, so you're getting your workout then, right?
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu's pretty unique as far as that. Most of the time the coach is also training. A lot of other sports are not like, okay, you just gave us cues on how to hit the baseball better, now it's your turn to also hit the baseball with us. Like, so I'm expected to be out there grinding with these guys, which I do.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a pro, and that you don't have to schedule in a workout. And it's sometimes I forget that, because sometimes you and I will both work a 10 or 12 hour day, but I didn't spend 2 hours fighting people,
Yeah.
So it's like a different kind of exhaustion, I think, also.
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's fun.
Well, good. I'm glad. Is that that seems like the real reason to be a Twisters fan. The real, like, one of the main reasons to join or to join Jiu-Jitsu and all of this is that ultimately it's like a pretty fun thing to do.
Yeah. I think it's extremely fun. And most people, there's a bit of a steep learning curve at first, but once you get over that, it's, all uphill.
All downhill.
Yeah.
Once you get over the learning curve, it's all uphill.
Yeah, it's all uphill. The learning curve is uphill, I should say. What I meant to say is the improvement is skyrockets. You're just on this upward trajectory for a long time. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
After that steep kind of first 3 months or however long, depending on your aptitude and how often you train. But people get addicted to it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I want to bring you back on in a couple months to talk about the gym. But if they're interested in Jiu-Jitsu, they can they can Google you. We'll link it in the show notes and take a trial class. But tell them how to get involved. If you want to be involved with the Twisters, how do you do that? Or how do you watch? And then how do you take another step?
Yeah. So week 2 just happened. I think this is going to release when?
In about a week and a half. So
okay.
Yeah.
So
maybe mid-October, mid-August. Sorry.
Well, I think we'll be in week 4. So there'll be 2 weeks left. Especially that 5th week will be very exciting because it'll be deciding who's going to the playoffs and who's not. So you can watch at PGF World YouTube. It's free on YouTube every Wednesday. I think it's 6 p.m. our time. Tune into that. The Alabama Twisters, you can find us at alabamatwisters.org. There's merch there. Shirts are up for sale right now. Pre-order. I think more stuff is going to be rolled out soon. Possibly fan club stuff as well. So just pay attention to that if you'd like. Alabama Twisters on Instagram. Obviously will be updated and you can see what all's going on there. So yeah, that's how you support us. Like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Comment. Yeah.
While
People are throwing up
Yeah.
Twister emojis or tornado emojis in the chat. We love that. Our guys are very exciting. Like, we have some very exciting, athletes on our team. They really go out there and go for it. And they've gotten a lot of submissions. It's a lot of fun. You can get involved in the fantasy as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll link to all that in the show notes too. So if you're driving, you can get that later. And then you also have kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes Instagram too, right?
Yeah. So I've been taking pictures as well at the event as well as at my gym and other things. So if you want to check that out, it's Jiu Jitsu Still on Instagram.
So it's like a still photo.
Yeah. I do video on there. Initially, I was just doing photography, but I throw some videos up on there as well. So
I think it's been kind of fun because you see the regular stuff on the Twisters account, and then you kind of see sometimes you see like you take pictures of rolling and stuff, but you see a little bit of behind the scenes too, and that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. Aside from being an owner and going out there and doing owner stuff, that's another reason I'm going to Vegas so often. So I'm going out there about every other week during the season to take pictures and be an owner and support the guys. It's another way I can support our athletes is take pictures of them so they can share them and all that kind of stuff.
When are you doing a calendar?
Soon. As soon as possible.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you. Please support the Alabama Twisters. We're really trying to do something cool.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all the support and love we're getting from around the state. That's been fun to watch, and we'll keep doing our best as a Nasty Nine to be good stewards of the Alabama Twisters and the Jiu-Jitsu community.
All right. Thanks, Russell.
Yeah.
The Localist podcast is written and produced by me, Carrie Rollwagen, and we record right here at Infomedia Studios. So Infomedia is our podcast sponsor. It's also where I work. That's my day job. And we work on websites. We also do photo, video, podcasting, anything like that. So if you're interested in doing a podcast of your own or for your company, or even just shooting some social media videos, hit us up at infomedia.com and fill out the contact form. We would love to help. Our showrunner is Taylor Davis. Paul Bryant is our engineer, and Hannah Cragen is our outreach manager. You can find show notes and anything else about this week's podcast at carrierollwagen.com, and you can find me on social media pretty much everywhere at CRollwagen. So until next time, here's to thinking global by acting local and putting small shops before big box.